welcome you all to today's topic of Class 10, BHOLI Part 2, written by K.A. Abbas. My dear student, I hope you have still remember Part 1, what happened to BHOLI and how she was being motivated by a teacher and how she was treated by father and mother. So let us read this Part 2 and know exactly what happened at the end to BHOLI. The teacher said that when Voli would complete that book, she would be given a bigger book and after that a still bigger book. See the way of motivating a student. She also told her that one day she would become an educated person in the village and people would respect her because of her knowledge and wisdom. Not only this, she would be able to speak clearly. With this, she asked her to come to school early the next morning. Who asked? Teacher. Now, Boli was very happy. Her heart felt a rare type of happiness and she imagined that she could hear the bells. As she was very happy, her heart felt a rare type of happiness and she imagined that she could hear the bells of the temple ringing and imagine that the tree outside the school had red colored flower on them. She felt a sudden beat in her heart that made her full of hope and happiness. Sometimes we also flow in that experience when someone praises us, when someone really motivates us. Sometimes you would have seen goosebump will occur, you will feel very happy, proud from inside, and your experience will change. There will be an inner glow, right? Similarly, this Boli is also feeling the same. She felt a sudden beat in her heart that made her full of hope and happiness. Years passed and the village grew into a small town. Her primary school was now a high school, and there was a cinema under a tin shed and a cotton ginning mill open in her town. Even the mail train started to halt at the village railway station. Now see the improvement as the days, years passes. So one night, Ramlal was discussing with his wife that he had got a marriage offer for Bholi. He asked his wife whether to accept Bhim Vishambar's proposal or not. To this, his wife replied that they should definitely accept the proposal because it was suitable for Bholi, and she supported her view by saying that Vishambar had a big shop, own house, cash, deposit in bank, and also is not asking for dowry. Now Ramlal was a bit unsure because Bhim's Vishambar was of his own age and was handicapped. He also had grown up children from his first marriage. His wife said that there was no harm in it if there was a big age gap between Bholi and the groom. Poor girl, poor child. See how the mother and father think about a child if he or she is disabled. Don't you think it's unfair with Bholi? Yes. She said that they could not find any other match for Bholi. And she also said that as he was from another village, he may not know about Bholi's mental condition and her ugly face. Ramlal said that he was worried that how Bholi would react to it. But her father replied that, mother replied that Bholi was like a dumb cow and would not say anything. Bholi was lying in her bed nearby and listening to her parents' conversation. Right? Now the bridegroom, Vishambarnath, was a rich man. He had a grocery shop where he used to sell food items and household goods. He had a good business. On the wedding day, he came with his friends and family. They were accompanied by a brass band which was playing a popular tunes from Hindi movies. And the bridegroom was riding a decorated horse. and Ramlal was very happy to see all this. He had never dreamt of such a grand wedding for his fourth daughter, and Bholi's elder sisters felt jealous of her good luck. On the wedding day, Bholi was brought for the wedding rituals. She was dressed in a red silk sari. When she reached, one of Vishambar's friend asked him to garland the bride. As he was about to put the garland around her neck, a woman removed the veil that covered her face. He saw the blemishes on her face and at once objected to the marks on the bride's face. His friend answered that he should ignore this as he himself was not young to marry a young girl like her. Now see the torture, see the condition of this girl. Vishambar told Ramlal that he wanted 5,000 rupees in return for marrying an ugly woman like Bholi. Ramlal went and placed his turban, his honor, at Bhimsar's feet. Do not humiliate me so. Take 2,000 rupees. Now see how this girl is being sold for the sake of money, that to be 5,000. And he is saying that I cannot marry a spotted girl like this. Though his friends is saying that, Vishambar, you are not that young to this girl. And the father is giving 2,000. On hearing the bridegroom's demand, Ramlal got so upset that he went to him and kept his turban at his feet. He requested him to be considerate and requested him to accept 2,000 rupees instead of 5,000 as a dowry. Vishamvar was firm and said that he could keep his daughter at home then. Ramlal requested him not to do all this as it would ruin his pride in front of the whole village. But Vishamvar was adamant on his demand of 5,000 rupees. He was very stuck to that particular amount. He was very stubborn towards that. And Ramlal went inside and brought 5,000 rupees from the safe, counted the money and handed it to Vishamvar. Now the bridegroom was happy because he had won the bet. He asked for the garland. He was ready for marriage. Now you can see the image of that ceremony here. Let me take you close to the picture. You can see here the marriage ceremony, right? Now let us move and see what happened next. Bholi removed the cover of her face and stared at Vishamvar. Her eyes were full of disrespect for him. There was no anger or hatred in her eyes. As Vishamvar was about to garland her, she struck her hand at the garland as quick as a streak of lightning. The garland flew and fell into the sacred fire. She threw away her veil too. Bholi addresses her father by saying, Pitaji. Her voice was clear and she spoke without stammering. Her family was shocked to see. She continued and said that her father should take back his money as she would not marry this man. And Ramlal was shocked to hear all that. Even the relatives started whispering that the girl was shameless as she was refusing to marriage. And Ramlal grew angry and shouted at Bholi that she had gone mad because such an act of her could bring disgrace to their family. And Bholi replied that it was for the sake of her family's honor that she had consented to marry the lame old man, but she was not ready to marry a greedy coward. See the guts, see the strength, see the confidence level of this girl who spoke today clearly without stammering. So an old woman commented that Bholi was a shameless girl, though they all thought that she was a dull and innocent girl. Bholi looked at her with extreme anger and said that everyone thought she was a fool and that is why they wanted to marry her off to an unkind man. They called her shameless because she could not take a stand for herself. Vishamvar Nath and his friends and family started to return. The bandsmen were not sure of what was happening. Obviously, how will they judge the things? They thought that the marriage ceremony had completed and so started playing the music related to the ending of a wedding ceremony, my dear student. Ramlal was in deep sorrow. He was feeling ashamed. The flames of the sacred fire died after some time and the guests too went away. He then asked Bholi that what would be her future now and who would marry her. Bholi replied that she would take care of her both her parents and would teach in the same school that had made her learn so much. She shouted approval from her teacher who was quietly watching all the drama. She approved Bholi's statement and she was deeply satisfied with Bholi's response to the whole situation. Wow! It was similar to the way an artist feels when he sees his masterpiece once it is complete. Don't you think it's really an interesting story, my dear kids? So every girl child should be independent. Every girl child should say their opinion because we are a democratic country. Right? So I hope this story is really impactful, interesting, and motivational story. I want each of you to go back, turn your pages and try to read part 1 and part 2 and feel the pleasure. Feel the experience. Try to have empathy towards such kind of situation. So I hope you will do it. So thank you all for watching my audio. If you face any queries, comments, feedback, do comment in my chat box. Thank you all.